I'd like to introduce Cathy from England, who takes LDN for TMS, which is Tumerfactive Multiple Sclerosis. Thank you for joining me, Cathy.
Yeah, thank you.
Could you tell us a bit about Tumerfactive MS?
Yeah, sure. It's quite a rare form of multiple sclerosis, and I was only diagnosed with it in 2012 December by my neurologist. He actually just took a look at my scans, and with my medical history, said that you've got tumerfactive MS. You haven't got SP, which I thought I had, or relapsing and remitting. So I have to go back really to 1990 when I had a stroke, and it was classed as a stroke, and I was ill for 5 years. My daughters were only 18 months and 8 years old at the time, and I was blind for 2 months. All the left side was affected, and I couldn't talk, but I could talk, but no one could understand me, and it was almost like being in a bubble for 5 years, and then I don't remember any of it at all. And then after 5 years, I gradually came out of it, and I learned to sorry, I learned to read and write again, and to do everything really. I went to an access course to learn again, and I only did 6 months of that because I did what I wanted to do, which was learn to learn, and then did a basic counselling course, and then went to college. I went and worked at Harefield Hospital as a healthcare assistant nights, and while I was there, I did my MVQ level 3, and then I did my nurse training. I was seconded. I was one of Blair's babies, and did my did my nurse training in 2003, and in 2006 I qualified. 2007 I was a nurse at Harefield Hospital, my first staff nurse post, and then in 2008 I had what we thought was another stroke. My left side was all affected again, and I was like having bad trouble with perception of heat, hot and cold. Cold was painful, and hot was like lukewarm, and that caused quite a few problems. But anyway, went to the hospital. They said it was viral neuropathy, and sent me to my doctors the next day. They said they didn't think I'd had another stroke because I'd had some tests for that. And then when I went to my GP, he sent me to the neurologist, and the neurologist said, I think you've had another stroke. So he said, why you're having strokes at this age, I don't know, because the first one was 36, and now I think I was about 46 or something then. And then he says, we'll do you all the tests, and I had bubblegrams and all sorts of things, and they all came back negative. He says, you haven't had a stroke at all. He said, we'll send you for the last one, which was a lumbar puncture in Charing Cross Hospital, and that told them that I had actually multiple sclerosis. So he then started giving me the treatment for tablets to help with the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, and he said that I've got relapsing and remitting, and that's why I've fully recovered, and that the stroke in 1990 was obviously an MS episode and not a stroke. So that made sense really. And then the 2008 one, I was off work for 6 months, and I went back on a stage return. And as soon as I told them in the March that I'd got multiple sclerosis, I was sacked from my position in 2009 August. And since then, 2010, I've been on benefits ever since then. I'm unable to work. I went right downhill when they sacked me because of the actual. My neurologist said it was because of the stress from all that made me actually deteriorate so fast. And I went from sort of like walking, like doing 17,000 steps on my pedometer a day, down to doing, I couldn't even get off the chair. You know what I mean? I was really quite ill. And my memory was very bad. I suffer from short-term memory loss. So that sort of made things quite difficult. I couldn't go out on my own because I wouldn't remember where I was and things like that. So I had to have somebody with me the whole time. I still do, but I'm so much better since I started on LDN. I went to my neurologist. He was a general one for a few years, and then when he came to the end, he said, well, you're you've now got secondary progressive MS. He said, so we can't do anything for you now. He said, so I'd like you to introduce you to another neurologist who's an MS specialist. He said, because I can't think of anything else to give you to help. So I said, oh, okay. And I went to this neurologist called Dr. Malik, who we call him Magic Malik, in the MS Society, you know, and everything, because he's fantastic. And he just, as I said, looked at my scans and my medical history and said, you haven't got R relapsing, remitting, or SP, secondary progressive. He said, you've got TMS, which is a totally different thing. He said, we can actually treat you now, actively treat you. And he said, we can give you DMDs, which are disease-modifying drugs. But I didn't want to go on that route because I'd heard so many things about them, and it's injecting every day. I wasn't too keen on doing that. And I said, well, I've actually heard from another friend who's on this LDN. Have you heard of that? He said, oh, yes. He said, I've got quite a few of my patients on LDN. He said, did you want to try that? I said, yes, I do. So he wrote me a prescription for it. And I started taking LDN in April of this year. And, well, I just couldn't believe it. The second day, I felt the benefit from it. I felt all my brain fog lifted. I was thinking clearly. I could finish sentences. I couldn't even finish a sentence. My husband always used to finish the ending for me because I couldn't remember what I was saying. So I'm able to do that now. I'm able to do things that I hadn't been able to do for ages. Like I'm still limited to the time that I'm standing up, but I have to sit down. Before that, I couldn't stand up and do anything. I needed help to get up out the chair and get into my wheelchair. I don't use the wheelchair. It sits out there, and I keep looking at it and thinking, well, I don't need to use you, so I wait until I have to before I sit on you again. I use a stick to walk with, and I use the car like an electric wheelchair, really, because I just get dropped where we're going, and I walk from wherever we're going into wherever we're going. But the best thing about it is that I can actually chat away to people now, whereas before I would just say something and then forget what we're talking about and move on to something else, you know. So it's been an amazing drug for me, and I am an advocate for it, and I keep on telling all my people where I'm on all my different sites. I'm always advertising LDN and telling them how it's helped me, and I'm sure it could help you, you know, especially because they've all got MS, most of the people that I talk to, you know.
When you first started, did you have any introductory side effects?
I did. I used to have some fantastic dreams, and they weren't horrible at all. In fact, I quite miss them. I used to have like really vivid dreams, as if the colour was like fabulous. It was like unbelievable, and anything to do with like flowers, or if there was anything to do with colour in there, it would be really vivid. And you can remember the dream. I can't remember the last time I could remember a dream, you know, but now I can remember them. I haven't really had, that only lasted for probably a few months, if that. But they've all gone now. I don't have any sort of side effects that I can think of, just benefit, really.